Welcome everybody, it's Tellum, and in this video we are going to be talking about the casual version of the main Easter egg and how it just sucks. Well, at least how it is right now. And when I say casual version of the main Easter egg, I'm kind of talking about the system they're running here, how there's a casual version of the main Easter egg and the hardcore, but it mainly has to do with the casual one, but it's kind of both of them. But you guys know what I'm talking about. But anyways, the reason I'm making this video now is because I wanted to make it before the DLC's launch. I already know DLC 1's only like a week away from now, but it's just something that's been bothering me ever since the release of this game. It's just been so annoying having this casual and hardcore versions of the Easter egg, which is something that's quite interesting because if you guys watched my videos before this game even launched, this was something I thought was going to be the coolest thing that they were adding to zombies. I was thinking, holy crap, this is actually something I think they could actually do well. But then I get the game, play the final ride, complete the casual one, then complete the hardcore version of the Easter egg, and it just feels like a complete waste of time. And this isn't to say that the Easter eggs themselves are bad. The Easter eggs are pretty good if you ask me. They're not great, but they're not bad. They're good. They're just somewhere in the good area. But the problem is that it just still feels like a waste of time even though the Easter eggs are good. And the fault of this lies a lot on the casual version of the main Easter egg and a lot of other areas. And let me kind of explain what I mean. So one problem I have with it is that the Easter eggs feel very similar. In fact, you do all the steps for the casual Easter egg inside the hardcore version of the Easter egg. All you do for the hardcore version of the Easter egg, you just add a couple steps that aren't even that good for the most part. There are some other steps, like maybe getting the upgrade Tesla guns, which are fine. I don't have a problem with those steps. Those are good steps to have in the hardcore version of the Easter egg. But the problem is like, what are these other steps? You gotta get some tops, you gotta spin them to the right position. Before that, you have to find Enigma machines spread across the map, and then you can spin them to the right positions. And then after that, you get a gramophone, and then you get, well, the sword step's cool, so we can't really say anything about that one. But then you go and get the gramophone and put it inside the gramophone player, and you have to kill zombies by. What is that step? It's just so dumb. And this is normally a complaint. You can't really give zombies steps or zombies Easter egg steps, but for this one you can, because a lot of these steps have an explanation on why you have to do them. Most of them do. Like all the casual Easter egg steps, they tell you exactly why you have to do this. But then you get these extra steps for the hardcore version of the main Easter egg, and they're just like, what? Why the heck would spinning tops open a drawer? And why the heck does this gramophone need Geistcraft energy from zombies? Why is that a thing? I just have no idea. It doesn't make that much sense compared to all the other casual Easter egg steps, and it feels like there wasn't that much thought put into the hardcore steps as much as the casual steps. And then you continue on to the boss fight, and then they claim that the boss fight is somewhat different just because they turned some lights off on the blimp. Are you kidding? That's really different? Is it really? Oh, you just made it a little bit more tedious, not any more difficult. It's just tedious. It's all like, dang, I missed it this time. I just keep running around the area until it opens up again. I'll know where it is this time. Oh no, it's so much more difficult. It's just like every single step that they added for the hardcore Easter egg steps were just not worth it. It was just so dumb what they did. I do not like what they did with the boss fight or the extra steps. I know there were some special cases like with the sword and the Tesla upgrades, but for the most part, these extra steps that were added are ridiculous. That's what makes it even worse. They're just extra steps. Like, not only are the extra steps bad, why the heck are they the same Easter egg except with extra steps? It doesn't make sense to me why they would think that's a good idea. And oh my gosh, it keeps getting worse, and especially from a story perspective, because when you complete either sides of the Easter egg, and this is what made it feel like the biggest waste of time for me, is that I completed the casual version, got the ending cutscene, then I completed the hardcore version and got the exact same cutscene. Like, what? What even? Why? What even is that? And then on top of that, I know that there's extra story to the hardcore version, and it's what's canon, in fact. But the problem is that most people are going to complete the casual version of the main Easter egg, and they're going to get the non-canon story. So everybody's going to think, oh, Klaus is dead, so we don't gotta worry about that anymore. But little do they know that if you completed the hardcore version of the main Easter egg, Klaus is alive. In fact, I don't even come to think of it, you can't even tell tell, well, most people couldn't tell that Klaus was still alive. It looked like he killed himself, not until the developer said it, so I guess there's that. But for the most part, it's just like, why are you giving us an uncanon story? In fact, you're giving that uncanon story to most people. Why don't you give the canon story to most people? It just doesn't make that much sense to me why they would decide to do it like that. It just annoys me so much. I don't get why they do it. But anyways, that's about it for my main complaints. I know I have a bunch of other nitpicky ones, I guess, but I just want to bring up the bigger ones for me. But now I want to talk about why I think this system could still be really good for zombies. And this is kind of what I thought it was before launch, and this is why I was hyping. I guess I wasn't hyping up, but I was talking about a lot in the good style of talking about it. And what I thought we were going to do is get a casual Easter egg, not a casual version of the Easter egg. I thought we were getting a casual Easter egg, and then we get a hardcore Easter egg. Not different versions of the same thing. I want completely different Easter eggs. Maybe you could have different things. The one thing I would have liked to see what happened is that maybe you give us the main story inside the casual one. You could still do that inside the hardcore one, but I prefer the casual one since more people are going to do the casual one. But then have some more story told to us inside the hardcore Easter egg, and something that will make a difference in that stuff. Like, this is like not major stuff, like the cutscene stuff that you get for completing the Easter egg. Put all that major story stuff in the casual one, but the hardcore one, make it so it could tell us something different, give us more to the story, flesh out the story, flesh out the characters. It's a perfect opportunity for that. And on top of that, there's one thing, and this is maybe just me, and I'm going to bring it up for the billionth time already, but it could help with the boss fight thing, because I don't care how many people tell me that they're not sick of the boss fight, but if you have the boss fight at the end of every single map, it's just going to get boring. It's kind of getting boring for me right now. Like, okay, I'm going to do the Easter egg and do the boss fight at the end. It's just like the boss fight. Okay, how do we get to the boss fight? You're not thinking how to complete the Easter egg. It's how do we get to the boss fight? It's just like, I'm so annoyed with that already. I just cannot stand going to the boss fight every single Easter egg. And because of this, the Giant has become one of my all-time favorite maps. Well, obviously it's like a remake, but just for it being a modern map with having Easter egg, even though it's not that big of a one, without having a boss fight. And I just like it so much for that. It's like, why are we forcing this boss fight every single time? It just like limits the creativity, and especially with zombies being such a creative mode, it doesn't make that much sense to limit yourself like that. So this would have been a perfect opportunity for all the people who like their boss fights. They could go the casual Easter eggs path and do their boss fights. And for the people who like the Easter eggs, not the boss fights, they like the Easter eggs and story and stuff like that, like it used to be, they can take the hardcore path. And that's why I thought it was so cool, this idea of a casual and a hardcore version, a casual Easter egg and a hardcore Easter egg. Remember, not different versions of the same thing. I wanted two entirely different Easter eggs. But anyways, that's about it for me. I know this was kind of ranty, pretty much, well, this is a rant, I guess you could say, but tell me what you guys think about it. Do you guys think that anything, I don't know, do you agree with me, disagree, have some more ideas? Just tell me anything like that down in comments. But anyways, if you guys did enjoy the video and left a thumbs up and subscribed, bell, shared, especially sharing and watching the video multiple times over, then I thank you guys so much for doing so. But I'm gonna go, and I will catch you guys on my next video.